Okay, so I'm having a little trouble with my wife's car again. My last video I talked about pulling the head off my Jeep, but it turns out that I may not have to do that. I ran some Reslone through it and quietened that lifter down, so it's been pretty quiet for a while now. So I'm just going to wait and see if I got to pull the head off of it, then I do, but I'm hoping I don't have to. What happened with this thing is pulled the dash out a while back because I had to replace the heater core. And I've done a lot of work on this thing because my wife was fixing to go out of town. She's fixing to go to Austin to do her continuing education. But so I did a lot of work on this thing, got it ready for the trip. It's only about a 4-hour trip, but still I wanted to put tires on it and get an alignment and do some front end work. And the alternator was starting to make a little noise, so I put an alternator on it, that kind of thing. And then I took it up to get the alignment done, and for some reason it kept blowing the taillight fuse on this Blazer. So I had a problem with the wire harness on this thing. The radio had shorted out, and I had to actually go in there and splice some of the wire harness. So I thought it might have been a problem, where it had actually melted into the wire harness somewhere. So I went in here, took the dash out, and actually pulled the wire harness completely out. See, this thing will focus in here. I don't know if it's going to or not. Anyway, you can see where I've got this tie strap right here. I actually pulled the wire harness completely out of this thing and took it completely apart and took all the tape off of it. You can see this all new tape. So I went from this side all the way across, took the whole thing apart, checked every wire, and there's no chafing, there's no burnt wires or anything. So it's not a problem with what I had done. I thought it might have been, maybe I'd got a wire chafed or something, but I'm real careful when I do this kind of work because it just takes one wire in the wrong place and you can wreak havoc with the electrical system on these things. But anyway, like I say, this is the fuse that keeps popping right here. This is I got a 25 amp fuse in there right now. It calls for a 20, but so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this thing. Basically, what you do is you just start with the obvious stuff that you might know could be wrong with it. The tail lights. You want to check the wires and the tail lights and all that crap. Check the bulbs. Make sure there's nothing. Burnt there. Third brake light. You want to make sure there's nothing melted in the wires there. Check all the lights. Check underneath the vehicle. Check your trailer wire connection, your trailer hitch connection. Make sure there's not a problem there. But what I'm doing now, a lot of times on these things, what will happen is these wires run right on the floor. Actually, they're actually covered. They go on this track right here, but they actually will rub on the floor, and you can wind up with a chafe on the wires that are rubbing on the floor. So I've taken that all apart, and again, I'm just checking stuff that potentially could be a problem. The flasher doesn't work. It could be that the switch is bad, and I'm having a problem with this switch because this flasher works directly with the brakes. So another thing you can check is you can check the the brake light switch. This is brand new. I just put this in here. That wasn't the problem. Checking all the wires again, running in and out of the firewall. You just have to check every wire, every place that you can, and see if there's any chafing or rubbing or burnt wires. So far, I haven't found any. But it's just a matter of taking this thing apart a little bit at a time. I would not recommend you do this unless you have had experience with this type of thing. This is typically something that you would give to a master mechanic, professional mechanic at least, one that is certified in ASE and other areas of schooling and stuff like that, because you can really wreak havoc on these things if you don't know what you're doing. But anyway, ton of fun. Obviously, my wife is not going to be taking this because she's supposed to leave tomorrow, so she's going to have to drive the Jeep up there, and I'm going to continue working on this thing. From this point right now, what I'm thinking is I'm thinking the blinker switch. I'm thinking that there's a short in here, and but because I've got it this far, I'm going to go ahead and check all the wires and retape the entire wiring harness put all new wires, I mean all new tape on there, make sure there's no chafing, and then put it back together. And it's going to take a couple of days, because putting this thing back together is the most critical part, because you got to make sure everything is in the right place, and you don't wind up with any wire chafing, because I was sure that that's what the problem was, but I didn't find any wires at all chafed or burnt or anything, other than the ones that I had replaced the last time I had to pull this. Last time I had to pull the dash out of this thing. So, and it is what it is, man. It's just one thing at a time. You know, it's just nuts and bolts and wires. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I haven't found it yet. Could be a problem with the relays here. Could be a problem with the relay box under the dash. I think this one is for the flasher. I know the blinker one is on the other side over there. I've already got it out. You can see it right there. I know that's the blinker relay, but I'm not sure whether it works the flashers or not. It may work the blinkers and the flashers, but I'm not sure. I don't think they're on the same circuit. Could be. So anyway, that's about it, man. It's just it's a mess. You know, I don't get in a hurry when it comes to something like this. Like I told my wife, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to take it apart a little bit at a time until I find out what's going on with it. And then we'll have to go from there. But and what I did is I went in here, and I don't know if you'll even be able to see this or not. I might be able to see it right here. But I actually took duct tape. I guess you can kind of see where the metal starts right here. And I duct taped all the sharp edges. All over the place. Every place there was a sharp edge on this metal, like right here is a sharp edge. Every place with the wires might be going through, like right here, you know, I tape those sharp edges so they don't chafe the wire. But it's a lot of fun. I taped all this up because there's a lot of sharp edges on here all the way across. So we'll see what happens, man. My air compressor took a giant douche on the floor a couple of weeks ago, so I had to buy a new air compressor. That was fun. $500 for that stupid thing. But you know, it is what it is, man. At least I have an air compressor, and I have a work site to be able to do this kind of work. And I also have something else that what you would want to have doing this kind of work is a diagnostic computer, which I have here in my little messy computer room that I have right here. I've got a Mitchell on Demand computer that you know, has diagnostic information like schematics and component locations and stuff like that. But anyway, ton of fun. I'm fixing to jump back into this thing with both feet, and I'm gonna pull the air box out of it, because you know, there's wires that run behind that air box right there. So to pull that out. And another thing you need to look at here too is these connections, these ground connections. That's really important on these on this vehicle, because the way this thing operates is the relay is grounded. It functions off a ground relay, or a relay ground system. So that's how this thing operates, and it can really throw you off sometimes if you're really trying to find what's going on with this thing. The relay's not operating. You put a new one in there and it doesn't work, and you go on and on and on, and you come to find out eventually that the whole problem the whole time is the bad ground, because those things operate off of negative ground. So it can be tricky, man. And without some kind of a diagnostic program to know those things, you know, you just can't do it. It's just not possible. So I'll give you a short look here at what I'm talking about. You can see right here, I'm not exactly sure what this ground goes to, but you can see the condition of this ground right here. You see that? Those simple little things like that can wreak all kind of havoc when you have a negative ground system, because when it stops making ground because of the corrosion, it stops working. So those are some of the things that you need to be aware of when doing this kind of work. And the other thing is to have one of these close by. I have actually caught a couple of vehicles on fire. Actually, one vehicle I caught on fire. But if I hadn't had a fire extinguisher, I would have burned my race car to the ground. Promise, it would have been gone. you know, $15,000 worth of work would have been history. So anyway, that's where I'm at today. I still have my motorcycle that I can ride around on if I have to go somewhere. I always like to keep a spare vehicle. I like to have a vehicle for myself, a vehicle for my wife, and then a spare in case I have to go somewhere to get parts or whatever, you know. And I guess that's about it, guys. I guess I'll shut up and let y'all do your thing. I just wanted to kind of throw this out there and show you what I got going on this week. So I guess we'll holler at y'all later. Peace, and I'm out of here.